Morant with a running start. Elevates. Oh, it dunks. Oh, my goodness.
Tie game in overtime. Gasol will turn. His heave is gone. Memphis on top. 7-10 remaining.
Conley now with three. Count it. A 15-point lead for Memphis. And Blake Griffin gets into it on the floor with Randolph. Hard to tell if there are any punches being thrown under there, but Griffin took acceptance.
Adams going long. Morant. Oh, he hit it. Ja Morant, insanity.
You gotta be kidding me.
Welcome to Grits and Grinds, a Memphis Grizzlies podcast. My name is Keith Parrish. I hope the off-season is going well for you. This episode, I'm basically just going to talk about some news items for the Grizzlies as we gear up for the NBA draft coming in just 8 days. I'm going to hit some of the prospects that I think might be worthwhile for the Grizzlies in a future episode in the next week, but I am not a draft expert, as most of you know, so I trust you're getting that information from those draft experts as we form our opinions on who the Grizzlies should take at the 25th pick or even higher if they try to trade up once again. But I'm going to cover some of the names that I think could make sense and speak with some draft experts in the next few days here, but not on today's episode. Today's episode is going to look at some news items and, of course, just kind of reflect that with the draft so soon that we could be days away from a pretty big Grizzlies move. Like, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that the team makes a trade involving this year's draft pick and they go ahead and add a veteran to the squad. I don't know how to handicap it, whether or not it is likely or not to occur. But when you consider that the Jonas Valanciunas for Steven Adams and Eric Bledsoe trade, that occurred before the draft. Several years ago, the Mike Conley trade happened before the draft. I think it's possible that the team wants to include this year's pick in a trade. And so in the next 8 days, something could happen with the Grizzlies. I think a lot of people have correctly identified the Brooklyn Nets as a possible trade partner. No, I don't think they're getting Cam Johnson or Mikal Bridges in the next week, but I mean, I could see Dorian Finney-Smith being on the team within the next 7 days or something. I'm not going to, again, go over a ton of trade targets that I have, but I do think it makes a ton of sense, even if the 25th pick isn't included or if no draft capital is included. Just a straight-up Tyus Jones for Dorian Finney-Smith deal makes a lot of sense for both teams. And even though there is a looming Ja Morant suspension, which, by the way, hasn't come out as of this recording on Wednesday afternoon, my guess is they news dump it on Friday afternoon. But, I think a Tyus Jones for Dorian Finney-Smith trade makes a ton of sense for both teams. Could that happen in the next 6 days? Yeah, certainly. But who knows? And of course, there could be lots of landscape shifting moves across the entire NBA. The Chris Paul situation, a very interesting one to monitor. No, I don't think Chris Paul makes any sense for the Grizzlies. In case you were wondering, I can't conceive of him being interested in coming to the Grizzlies. But Chris Paul is going to go somewhere. All these teams are going to shift around players, I think. Bradley Beal is currently in the news as maybe the Wizards are now trying to dump him as the Wizards have new front office personnel looking to make over that team. So I think a lot is going to happen in the next week in the NBA, and I do think there's a good chance the Grizzlies are involved in some of it. Going back to previous episodes I've done, including my Grizzlies offseason primer episode, I also think standing pat is a likely option for the Grizzlies. I'm not going to be surprised with the full roster, already having 14 guys under contract for next season, and if they keep their first-round pick this year, that may be the 15 guys on the roster come opening night. But, of course, who knows? Anything could happen. And also, after the draft is exciting, Of course, right after the draft comes free agency, but then the Grizzlies play basketball. It's not very far away. Summer League basketball is just a few weeks away. The Grizzlies are playing in Utah once again. They play on July 3rd, 6 p.m. Central against the 76ers. So we're going to get Grizzlies basketball coming up very, very soon. They also play the Thunder on July 5th. I believe that's a 6 p.m. Central start. And then they play the Jazz on Thursday, July 6th at 8 p.m. Central. I believe those times are correct. The dates are certainly correct. But then after that, the Grizzlies will go to the Las Vegas Summer League. I will be in Las Vegas. If you've never been, I highly recommend it. It is a lot of fun. So the Grizzlies are about to have a lot of summer basketball. We'll get to see Jake LaRavia and David Roddy and Kenneth Lofton Jr. tear it up. I would guess Zaire Williams is going to play again as he looks to rebound from his very disappointing sophomore campaign. And of course, whoever the Grizzlies take in the draft, if they take any of their second-round picks, those guys will also be playing, so that all should be a lot of fun. In other Grizzlies news, the Toronto Raptors hired away Darko Rajakovic, who, as you remember, has been with the team for a while. He coached with the Thunder before the Grizzlies. He is going to be the head coach for the Toronto Raptors, and now the Grizzlies have hired a new assistant coach, Patrick St. Andrews. I first saw that reported by the Daily Memphian. Patrick St. Andrews has been an assistant coach with Mike Budenholzer the last 6 seasons. So he and Taylor Jenkins worked together in Milwaukee and in Atlanta. So that will be a new face on the bench for the Grizzlies this coming season. In other Grizzlies news, Jaren Jackson Jr. has committed to play for Team USA at the FIBA World Championships. Those occur at the end of August and into September. So Jaren will have an opportunity on an international stage to represent Team USA. And he's currently probably one of the best American big men. So maybe Jaren becomes a fixture on Team USA for a while. I'm a little surprised, honestly, that the Grizzlies gave him the green light to play. I feel like they've been a little bit hesitant to have their players involved in off-season international competitions. But Jaren is going to play for Team USA at the FIBA World Championships. Also, Santi Aldama will also be competing in the FIBA World Championships for Spain. So that will be something to watch after Summer League. We'll have even more high-level basketball involving our Grizzlies players to keep us entertained. And finally, on this very short newser episode, Tony Allen pled guilty a couple of weeks ago in the healthcare fraud case that he was involved in. I do not think he is expected to serve any jail time, although by pleading guilty, he does face up to 2 years in prison. Most of the other, if not all of the other defendants in this case have avoided jail time, and Tony Allen was one of the only defendants to fully repay the money he received in the scheme. So I don't think Tony Allen is supposed to receive any jail time, but his legal issues seem to be concluding. Maybe somewhere down the line he will still be honored with his jersey retirement, but I honestly don't know if that's on the table anymore or not. Also, by the way, I guess we can talk about this random news story that Jerry West went on Paul George's podcast and announced that when he was the GM of the Grizzlies in 2004, he advised Kobe Bryant to not come to the Grizzlies. Kobe Bryant, who was feuding with Shaquille O'Neal back then, apparently told Jerry West, who was a family friend and a confidant at that time, but also the Grizzlies GM, he told Jerry West, apparently, allegedly, that he was interested in coming to the Grizzlies. And Jerry West, while GM of the Grizzlies, told Kobe not to come. So I don't know if there's any truth to that story, but kind of a hilarious story that has leaked out in the past few days. Jerry West does seem to, enjoy talking in this manner and sharing, perhaps, stories with a hint of truth that are a little bit shocking. Anyways, I think that is all for today. A very quick newser episode. I will have episodes up in the next week before the NBA draft, looking at some draft prospects, some draft ideas. I also will start identifying some free agents that I think the Grizzlies should pursue if they go that route, and circling some trade targets that I definitely wish the Grizzlies would pursue as they attempt to upgrade their roster in pursuit of rebounding from this past season's disappointment as they lost in the first round to the Lakers. Anyways, thanks you guys for listening. Please, if you haven't yet, go to YouTube and subscribe to the Grits and Grinds YouTube channel and watch and share the episode I posted with the Grizzlies season highlights. There are a lot of video highlights of the past season on that, something you cannot enjoy in this audio format. So watch my Memphis Grizzlies 2022-2023 season in review and stats spectacular on YouTube. Anyways, hope you're having a great day. I will talk to you very soon. Go Grizz.